Hello everyone, your voice here and welcome to our channel Sansevieria 101. So for this episode, we are going to feature the first hybrid that bloom in our garden. And this is, by the way, my own hybrid. As you can see there, I have placed on the left side of the content, the details for it. I have tagged it with RAL T1F6 because this is from the first tray that I made and it is on the column of F6. It is just one of the hybrids or the seedlings coming from the fruit bearer, which is Gabriella, and I have paired it with the species senegambica. At the end part of the content, I will be showing you folks how the parentage looks like, and then you can compare how the process of pollination or the process of making hybrid would affect the seedling. So as we create more content for the playlist of our own hybrid here in Apple's Garden, that is the name of our nursery or garden. I have named it after my wife, and we will discuss that further later on. But right now, what I'm showing you is the progress of the budding stages of my own hybrid. I have not formally named it, but tagged it as RAL T1F6. So, like you see there, the flower stalk has already grown in significant height, and it is having a raceme type of inflorescence. So Gabriella, the hybrid Gabriella, was having a raceme type of inflorescence. Senegambica, the species, is also having a raceme type of inflorescence. So the result of crossing them, you would create something that has, or a hybrid that also has a raceme type inflorescence. If you put something like a pinguicula on there, which has a capitulate or a paniculate inflorescence, then I'm not sure if the result of the hybrid would have an inflorescence of a raceme or a paniculate inflorescence or a compact raceme. I can't be sure because those will be the breed of two species or hybrids that have different inflorescence type. So going back though, I have another screenshot on here stating that this is the first picture that I took wherein it bloomed. It's January 22nd, 2024. On the first picture that I have included on this content, it was dated January 3rd, 2024, and that was the first day where I caught it. So it would take at least 23 to 24 days approximately, because I'm not sure if I took the first picture, which is the January 3rd, 2024. I think that is already the third day of inflorescence, because I wasn't able to capture the first or second day wherein the flower stalk or the flower spike on it is still in the ball-like structure, wherein it's very short and it doesn't have a flower stalk yet. I was not able to capture that. So it might be that I took the picture on a later day, like it's second or third day. So January 3rd, then the first bloom was January 22nd, so that's 19 days plus 2 days, so approximately I guess that's 21 to 22 days for the budding stages to reach the blooming stages. Alright folks, so we're back, and like we always do, this is the second part of the content wherein we take measurements of the inflorescence if we are featuring the inflorescence of a Sansevieria hybrid or species or even cultivars. So what I am presenting right now is a hybrid that was bred by myself, and the parentage of this hybrid, I already mentioned it on the first part wherein we were discussing the transformation of the flower stalk, and the parentage of this is Gabriella is the fruit bearer, and then the donor is senegambica. So the fruit bearer is a hybrid and then it's crossed with a Sansevieria species, which is senegambica, and this is how it would look like. This is how the appearance of the hybrid would look like. Gabriella would usually be just green, normal green color, not solid dark green, but what you see right now is a Sansevieria that is having very dark green bandings on them. That is that was taken from the other parent, senegambica, and then the form of it is a combination of I would say Gabriella and senegambica, but this one I think would not be stacking up anymore. So what I would do is I would try to separate the pups after I'm done with the or I'm done trying to pollinate the inflorescence of my own hybrid. What I have paired it with was the Sansevieria hybrid Nena, which is one of Attorney Pepito Mercado's hybrid, and also paired it with the Turkey species known as Coppertone. So this is how the inflorescence looks like, and let's take a closer view of it. It is a simple raceme type of inflorescence, and some of the flower tubes have already fallen off because this is the third day. I tried to pollinate it on the first and second day, but I guess it was not compatible, and this is what happens. You would usually have flower tubes that are falling if your cross is not compatible with each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the fallen flower tubes from it. Maybe I could recycle the pollen on the or the pollen that I have taken from this inflorescence, and pair it with some other Sansevieria that is in bloom right now in our garden. More importantly, we'll be going back and we'll be taking measurements. So first we will take measurements of the flower tube, which is on the topmost portion. Let me just get the tool here so that I can record inflorescence, the same tool that we always use. And this is a digital caliper, so we'll set it to 0 millimeters and measure the topmost flower tube. Alright. Okay, so I think, let me show you how I measured it. So that's the measure of the topmost portion of the flower tube. It's 25.8. Let's try the lower part. So I would conclude that for my own hybrid, the flower tubes that are growing on them are uniform, and almost all the flower tubes would measure the same size, as you can see here, the same size, 25.8 millimeters. So we have that out of the way. We measure the flower tubes. The flower color would be white. The flower tubes coloration would be greenish. The flower stalk would just be the normal green color. And like I said, this is a raceme type of inflorescence, and it is clustered. So in a cluster, I would have I think, because some of the flower tubes have already fallen, I'm measuring flower cluster for this Sansevieria hybrid, which I bred myself, would be 4 to 1. So they're on a clusters that are attached on a cluster that is attached on the flower stalk, there would be around four flower tubes, and on the topmost portion it reduces to just one flower tube attached to the flower stalk. So that's everyone, that's how you measure the clusters on an inflorescence, that we call that flower per cluster. And by the way, this hybrid is T1. I would tag my hybrids as RAL, that those are my initials: Royce, Adelantal, Librando, and then RAL T1F6. And this is how it looks like. We have measured and described the inflorescence. What's next would be the flower stalk. We will have it measured. Alright, so it's kind of difficult holding one hand with the camera and one hand with the ruler to measure the inflorescence. So the flower stalk would be at 9 inches. That's my measure for the flower stalk height. And we're done with everything that is to measure with the inflorescence. So I guess this is it. Perhaps I'll add another clip for this particular content so that I can show you the parentage of what I have bred. But for now, this is it for the measurements of the inflorescence of my own hybrid, and I am documenting it on the channel so that in the future, if ever I decide to have them sold, people would have a reference as to how to identify a hybrid coming from me. So I'll be back in a bit, or I'll be adding another clip to the content with regards to the parentage of my hybrid RAL T1F6. Alright folks, so like promised, I will be showing you the parentage of the hybrid that I am featuring. So this is one of the parent. This is the species senegambica, and I'll focus it so you can see the characteristics of the said species. It is solid green in color, and it has no pattern, no banding, just pure solid green. And by the way, I have some fruits formed. I have pollinated this species with Kirky and the hybrid Pepitos hybrid Nena. So we'll go ahead and look for the other parentage, because it's hard for me to put them in one location. So we will kinda check the garden. This is, by the way, matured Gabriella, and Gabriella is a hybrid as well. So my hybrid is crossed with a species and then another hybrid that is known as Gabriella. So Gabriella looks like this in maturity. What you would usually see in the market are very small Gabriellas, and this one is planted directly to the ground. And let me move back a bit so you can see how large the specimen is. So it's a clump of Gabriella, and this is how they look like when they are clumped and they are planted directly to the ground. Let's move and find out another Gabriella. All right. So it's quite a jungle here in our garden. This is another Gabriella. So that's how they look like. This one is not as big as the first one that I've shown you, since this one is just planted in a 6-inch pot. That's how they look like. They're stacking type. Those are the pups. Quite a neglected specimen, but those were the parentage of the hybrid that I'm featuring. Alright, so folks, I think this is it for this episode. And if you like what I've featured for you, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.